Don't stress. Don't worry. Be happy. Are you winning now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, King. And can you hear me?
I can hear you 2 times.
Great, because your people are already here. So clearly you are quite a popular favorite.
Yeah, there's a big echo from your side, but it's okay. Let's go.
All right, Umoya Ulight, Umoya Upright, guys, I see you. Thank you for joining. I think this is the first live stream of 2025, according to you guys, but people like us in this live stream, we've been at it since September. But okay, so we welcome you into the space. This is one of my favorite podcasters, guys. If you want to learn about current affairs and about like a Pan-Africanist view on things. I think that's what I enjoy mostly about him is that it's not just politics, because a lot of our politics, and especially young people, is that a lot of their politics is given to them by Abelungu. So they've got there's a narrative and an undercurrent to it. So it's always nice to have podcasters who are just giving us the real deal and how it should be, And I think me and you, King, I think I found you because there's a lot happening politically. I picked up your channel just before elections, and so I just want to start there. Dumela, greetings, and thank you so much for agreeing to be part of us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a long time coming. I mean, we've been trying to set up this whole thing, but you can't control what the universe has got control over. So this is how everything has been decided to be. So I'm very happy to be here. Very honored also. I told you, like on your platform, I think people will see a different king that they won't be able to see on other platforms. And I did go for some interviews, but I'll wait for those guys to drop that interview. But I think here I'm at home.
No, we still want you in studio. We definitely still want the King Said So
We're gonna make it
episode
happen. We're gonna make it happen.
properly in studio. Tonight we're just gossiping, we're chatting about the politicians. Um, like I was saying, I mean, where you at? The last time I spoke to you, you were saying that you're 1 foot inside EFF, 1 foot in MK, but definitely no feet in ANC. So maybe we start
Yes,
there.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Yeah, look, for me, the EFF is the party that speaks to my spirit of Pan Africanism, and I think they have played that role perfectly well. They do have somewhat of African footprint, if you like. There's EFF, Lesotho, EFF, Uganda, EFF, Namibia, and all of those places. So for me, that's what I want. I want to see the borders of Africa broken down and Africans uniting, but not only for them, for a purpose, not for only for political reasons, but for a bigger mission, a bigger generational mission to say, guys, what is it that we want to get rid of that these colonizers has infused into our communities? Not just politics, because politics is one of those things that we must get rid of, that our colonizers has forced into us to bring us to this delusion that democracy, the voting system, and everything is something that will deliver us as the people. But knowing very well that actually it's a corrupt, rigged system on itself. It's infiltrated from outside influence and all those things. So I want to see Africans come together, and then we ask the question: now that we are together, my African people, stands that much.
Yes, I know you're working with PASETA. King, don't be shy to take up space here. I'm a listener. So whatever thoughts, don't feel like I'm talking too long or whatever. We actually all came here for you tonight. So you're going to unpack you to us and how you view our political situation. I mean, how do you feel about? I know this is something that I always pick up in your podcast. Is that you are suggesting that the solution is actually not politicians. So it's, I mean, even now, I think you're just paying courtesy to your party. But when we speak realistically speaking, what are the solutions for abantu abamnyama?
Yeah, the solution is not only politics. It's a quite a variety of solutions. First of all, decolonizing is understanding how we Africans function, and we functioned very well before the colonizers came, and understanding that system first. You can't replace the Africans. You can't, let me say this, you can't replace the political system without understanding yourself and what is it that you want to replace it with. So when I say that politics is not the only solution, I'm saying we must look beyond that. We must understand that we as Africans, we function different from the rest of the globe. You know, this Ubuntu thing is encrypted into our DNA, and you can find it from Cape to Cairo, this Ubuntu thing. And you understand that the kingdoms were ruling in, you can call it in a political sense, because they were consulting. There was Lehotas and everything. There was Indunas, there were chiefs, there was everything. So it is almost like a political system, but it was all inclusive. Meaning even my father, who does not have a position, would have a voice at the Lehota. Will go there and they call Abu Baba, and Abu Mama will be called to this side, and Abu Mama's opinions will be taken so seriously and, you know, into consideration and into action. All of those things. The current political system as it is, we are just joking. In South Africa, especially in South Africa, because we are so open in South Africa to bribery and rigging. We don't have power. Look what happened to Mozambique. Huh? The people who are saying Daniel Chapo is not the man who won are on the streets protesting and saying, listen, we don't want this guy. So the question we ask is that the people who voted for him, who got 60+%, where are they? Do you understand? The same thing happened in Namibia. I'm talking about last month. I'm not talking about things that happened a long time ago. In South Africa, let me tell you a secret, because you don't know. You are going to be heartbroken 2029. They're going to make sure. They're going to make sure that the progressive left, when you add the numbers together, it does not come to 51%. They're going to make sure.
Like they did at the IEC, right?
Yes.
So do you believe that allegedly the elections were rigged?
Say again?
Do you believe that allegedly the elections were rigged?
No, it's not allegedly. It's not allegedly. We saw political parties going to the floor, showing us the pictures of the VDs that were taken. They say, look at these pictures. Some numbers were scratched. You know, the thing that they will use to counter it is that it's not material. You say you lost 5 votes in this station, 10 votes in this station. Even if we add them together, it's not material. Then the question is, what about those people that stood in those queues? What were they standing in those queues for if their vote is not material? One vote rigged is one vote too much. But when you are a country like us, that is, you know, the ANC has made us to be accepted. We say accept, we are too much tolerant of everything. Yeah. So you're like, but you know, even if you gave EFF an extra 1,000 votes, they were not going to get any more seats, it was not going to change the thing. We're not saying that the system must be perfect at all costs, but we are saying the way the system is right now, no.
Did you see?
And remember,
okay,
sorry, you can continue.
No, I'm listening.
I'm saying, remember, the final people that do the capturing do it at the absence of the VDs, the people who are there counting. So they count, they write, they do everything, put it in an envelope, seal it, and send it to Ntiki somewhere in an office. She's the one that does the capturing. We are not there when she's doing the capturing. Why are we not in that center, in that room, and looking and you know, speaking to my people in KwaZulu-Natal? You say in this station we got 32 votes. Okay, let me see what did she capture in this station. When the final capturing is done, it's not democratic. We don't know who's there.
Yo, what do you think of? Did you notice that? I forgot what his name is, but the guy from America, Wahopola, who came in for the elections, and then when all the rigging was done, he was like, "Okay, guys, thanks, bye, I'm going now." What do you think that was about? Who is he? Why was America in our elections?
Listen, South Africa is one of the greatest exporters and importers of American products. You guys don't understand just how much the global East and West benefits from the global South, which is Africa. These people are eating. It is in their best interest to control the election outcome. That's why you will never have freedom in the DRC. You'll never. You've got too much minerals. The same with South Africa. Platinum, copper, diamonds, gold, whatever. These people want to eat. So Americans have seen that this South Africa is moving to this Russia and BRICS nonsense. They don't like it. Even now, our president was not invited to the inauguration of Donald Trump, which is happening, I think, this coming weekend. You know, because they are angry. They're trying to send a message. And listen to Gogo Zida. She told you that stop doing this nonsense that you are doing. America will come against you. And remember, they're speaking on the background of what is that nonsense organization of the Afrikaner? Solidarity. Solidarity is invited in American events. They go there and they speak about this genocide that is happening to African people. That since these blacks took over, the country is crumbling, and your investment is going to go down the road. They even want to come after your US dollar. So they have to come and watch us properly.
Are you suggesting that we are powerless to the situation in South Africa? Are you saying that there's no solutions because we already owned? It sounds like the capitalists are in charge and in control.
You know, I like it that you phrase it that way, that we are powerless. South Africa has got a delusion, a thinking that they must make it first so that Africa can, I don't know, Africa must copy them or whatever. Like South Africa is some special baby that if we can make it here, you fix your own problems, and then we will take care of our things here. As long as the total liberation of Africa is not in a group like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. It's not in groups. Forget about this issue of South Africa having any power. As a single country, we are nothing. This issue of comparing South Africa to China is stupid. South Africa is 62 million people. China's got 1.4 billion people. So what is it that you are comparing? We have no power. We are not aware, but we have no power. The power comes in African unity. Unless you tolerate or later.
Later, RFP Pro Kid. You know this? Yadan Israel is saying something very interesting here. He says, I've always been of the view that votes give people the illusion of choice so that when the government is doing what they don't like, they blame themselves, saying we voted for this party. So they don't rebel as people who had no say, but in fact, people never chose the government. They were given a manager of the corporation and fooled into thinking they chose him. This is why even the question of land will never be resolved, because of politicians and presidents serve the status quo, not for the masses.
The question of land was resolved in 1993 April when they unalived Chris Hani. They resolved it. They showed you we don't want anyone that talks about taking back the land. They resolved it in 1993. It was a big example, and all the ANC guys understood exactly what the message was by assassinating that man in front of his house. They resolved it that day. There's no brave politician that is going to raise that. Listen, the EFF can raise it and put pressure on the ANC, but the EFF themselves can't solve the land issue. And they know the ANC can't solve the land issue. So the EFF has to make the ANC look bad, to say, no, we'll give you our votes. We'll give you our seats in parliament. All you need to do is amend, not to change Section 2025. Amend it so that we can expropriate land without compensation. They know that they can't do that. They know very well that they can't do that. The lives of these people are, listen, Mrs. Ntikimina now is saying, I'm a podcasting Gumnandi. We don't meet serious people who are investing billions of rands in this economy, and people that can take you out really. You can say, I'm Katali Mina, I'm King so I would die for this Pan-Africanism until they come.
Yep, and they do come.
And the politicians, they know. Nobody's touching this land issue. Only us, the society can stand up as the community, because we are not threatened by these people. We don't understand why is it that we don't have land back. When you have someone like myself who works for the Department of Agriculture, you get an appreciation of how these whites have taken everything from us.
In fact, the Department of Tourism masinakhuluma one day, because that ministry has always been run by Abelungu, and its Department of Tourism would obviously have to do with the land, with the game reserves, with the resorts. So umlungu is pillaging. And another thing is that they are charging these prices, tourist prices, which exclude us, because we can't afford about 10,000 a night, 20,000 a night. We can't afford that at the Kruger Park. So, I mean,
Actually, the game reserve fall under our department, the Department of Agriculture. It was fused, it was merged with the Department of Environmental Affairs, of which that is where the nature reserves fall under. Let me tell you something. Oh my God, I'm gonna get in trouble, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I sat in the game donation committee at my department. I said there's the Secretary General of my department, and without saying too much, the requirements to get game donation. For those who don't know, game is wild animals. It's wild animals. Your impalas, springboks, buffaloes, and so on. So the department has got its own game reserves. In the Northern Cape, we've got quite a few. I think 4 or 5 of them. So we've got animals that are growing there, and they're becoming too much. So to promote game drives and all of those things, we donate to people that already has game reserves. Now you can just imagine what the requirements are. When I was in Tiki, you just started as a black lady, and we want to, empower black women. But the requirements of the fence, what type of fence you must have, how many hectares you must have, and all of those things, they just kick you out as a black person. You don't qualify. Only the black elites and the whites will qualify. And the black elites, they are those that have been working with this minority for years. When you look at the history of that game reserve, it's for years. So the game reserve is another industry that black people have not really touched in a Mali industry layer. Why do you think there's pala? Yeah? In a Mali, serious money, when you want to farm cattle, people are moving on to things that God has made. Who has made an impala, a zebra, and all of those things? These people take the land and they own those animals, those wild animals.
When we spoke about corporates and the powerlessness of government, Well, you guys know that I keep saying was because I've retired. The creative industry, the music industry, because I saw that it's all bullshit, and I saw that um, it's not owned by us. So, like Gayton yesterday I felt like he was grandstanding, where he said something like he was pushing that 90% thing with, yeah, the radio stations must go play American music in America, and he's being all colorful and all. And then we, as the local musicians, have been sitting with the situation for decades, since the beginning of the music industry, actually, is that the music industry is created by the Sonys, by the Gallows, by the Universals, right? And they came into South Africa to sell American artists and to sell American music. So signing local artists is just secondary. They were just doing us a favor, which explains why the radio stations are payoloed out and they play so much American music. Because, I mean, logically, why would anyone be playing another country's music when they could be playing their own? So there's actually no power. So Gayton was just talking a lot. I remember when they did that 90% music, because obviously we've got ears in all the corners. I know this. He was an executive at one of the publishing houses. And then we were talking about why did they stop 90%? And he was like, hey, mama, there was a call from overseas to be like, cut that shit. Because the Americans were not making their money anymore. So
Listen, don't take anything that is clown from the pathetic alliance says serious. Don't take anything that it says serious. You are in power now. You are the Minister of Sports, Art and Culture. Do something. Let's stop talking. You know all of these record labels that are, do something. We're
he's actually not
sick
even
and
talking
tired
to
of
artists.
politicians that point out the obvious wrongs. The artists know this. They've been knowing this, So that's where you will realize that you don't have power when you play 90% South Africa music. I mean, South African music is the best music in the continent. For Christ's sake, we can debate it. We've got the best music. So if we can't play the music in our radio stations, and you've got a Minister of Sports and Art and Culture who has identified that this is a problem, do something.
He hasn't even called the artist.
They can't do anything. And remember, the artist is Lambile Nazolenzo.
Hey.
It's difficult alone. They tell you straight, these radio stations, that there's envelopes that are pushed for certain music to play.
Yeah.
They are pushed, these envelopes.
Yeah.
So when with your talent and your guitar,
I mean, even a live example was when Lyra was with Sony BMG. She was platformed everywhere, getting all the big gigs. The minute she said, no, I'll handle it, and did her Oratel music.
In your dreams.
What's Fanela Nachi?
She came back to earth. In your dreams. They don't want independence. They're independent, but they don't want that. Because if you make it, you're going to show other people that they can make it also. We must block you.
Then you get blocked from, because you can be like, okay, I'm going independent, but then they'll block you on the radio stations. They'll block you on Channel O. They'll block you on Trace or whatever the music channels that they own, where they push their own artists, and their own artists generate revenue.
Oh, I feel sorry for artists, really, because that war, that one is almost impossible to win. It's almost impossible. I'm saying almost, but it is possible. But it's like if the whole of Africa say we are not playing music, overseas music, until we get this type of rate and everything, you will see that will change. But the whole Africa is not yet united. And you only need the big three. You need Kenya, you need Nigeria, you need South Africa. Those ones, they can bring solidarity of the other music industries, the West, the East, and the South. And I'm sure you can win something. And that's happening.
That's an interesting perspective. I didn't realize. Why do you say that Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa are the big three?
those are the only countries that are making proper noise when it comes to promoting their country. Nigeria might be a little bit negative also, but Nigeria, they've got this pride that, no, South Africans made Amapiano, but we made it international. They've got that pride to say we are international. But 200 million or something like that in one country. It's crazy.
Yes.
You understand? And they also did the same with Afrobeat. The Senegalese and the Ghanaians are saying, but this music is ours. The Nigerians are not saying, no, it's too late. The Kenyans are more, how do I put it out? These Kenyans are. The Kenyans are South Africans without the boastfulness. Like the music is beautiful, the country is the tourism is blooming and everything. You can sell Kenya to the rest of the world. Understand? And they've got that pride. The Kenyans have got that pride of being Kenyan, unlike the other other African countries. You know what I'm saying?
So when we talking about these big three, is it just? Do you mean just in terms of the arts, or would this also apply economically? If these three countries, if we aligned ourselves, would they be? What do you think?
Economically, remember, electricity, South Africa has got enough coal reserve to feed, to generate power for the entire SADC. And you've got Congo. You need Congo. You need Congo. They need the coal-backed mines, everything that has to do with battery lives and everything. Congo can power the entire Africa. In fact, they've got a river where they started a bridge to generate electricity, but it was stopped, that project, because the Congolese would have got electricity for free next to Mahala, the way it was going to be in abundance. They stopped that also. So you need Congo, you need Kenya, you need Nigeria. We need that loudness, that proudness, that minds. Those minds will tell us, how did you guys take 50 cents from each account to become millionaires? We need to know these minds that you have. Let's use them progressively for winning Africa. Then we copy the model that has been done in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, because those countries are showing us, if you unify your militaries, they've got one passport, they are building one currency, they've got one military. That's what we are pushing for as Africans. Like I said, let's come together and talk about that. Where are we going as Africa? Are we going to continue making English our medium of communication forever? Like my children's children are going to learn in English. Is that what we are saying?
And that's going to erase our languages. No, let me listen. Sorry, I'm being such a bad listener today. You're so inspiring. Sorry, I'm listening.
Listen. The African people, with this Bella Bill rubbish that we are doing in Abantu Abamnyama, because we don't want to build schools for our own people. We don't want to develop our own language. Now we are forcing our children into African classes. I went to African schools. I went to large schools and work schools, me, myself. So I can Pan-Africans buy a MOYA, because I've been to that shitty schools. Let me tell you, those people don't want your children in their schools. Your children will think that there's something wrong with their head. Your children will think there's something wrong with their skin. Your children will be discouraged to speak their own language. Kahisu, vaccinating, the talent make a classroom, and all of those things. So now you are taking them and forcing them into African schools. Imagine what type of racism cases are we going to get going forward. We are already, every year, we know there's some racism that is going to happen into 4 or 5 elite schools. Girls High, it's been happening since the 90s.
No, but how dare, well, I'm saying, how dare the colonizer have its own exclusive schools in our land? That is why people are forcing their children there, because it's like, no, you're not going to. So, I mean, why would we allow them to create their paradises, and then we don't have resources?
Yes. No, there's no problem. I understand that here. Nami angifuni baphile kamnandi labantu labo. Angifuni baphile kamnandi. Ngifuna
Asifuni nje
sibadesterbe.
kukithi la.
Kumele babreathe ngamapipe abana chance. But I'm saying, while they are breathing with their pipes, are you developing your language? Are you building your own schools? You understand? Because nothing is going to develop. You're going to make English that much stronger, and all your other languages that much weaker. Because your language is always secondary. It's English first language, Setswana second language. What does second language mean? It means you only do Setswana when you go to the Setswana class. You don't do Setswana in geography. You don't do Setswana in social science. You don't do Setswana there. It's only one class that you are trying for. And in PASETA, we are saying that should not be happening. All the subjects in African languages. Then the issue of saying, but your language is not developed enough. You know, in Africa, we are privileged. We have a language that is very developed, which is Kiswahili. And najifunza Kiswahili kidogo kidogo. That means I'm learning Kiswahili small, little by little.
Yes.
So you find yourself understanding. But if we can find an African language that is complete, meaning the child can go from grade 1 to varsity with that language, why can't we import another African language? Why can't Kiswahili be the language for Africans to speak? Then the Zulu people have got a problem with Kiswahili. Then the Shona people have got a problem with Kiswahili. Why must we make those people famous? Why must we? They're thinking of trying. They're not thinking of progress. But when you say, okay, let's speak English, then everybody's okay. Yeah, English is fine. Yeah, English is fine. Not Kiswahili. That is how people are.
It's a mental illness.
When we are done, the system is deep in our blood. That's why I've given up on you guys. I'm more concerned about the next generation.
Yeah.
What is going to be indoctrinated into their minds? What is going to be infused in their minds? You know, inbreded in their minds. I'm more concerned about them. The only thing I can hope is that you can finance the next revolution, because every revolution must be financed. Yeah, but so the children, when they grow, they know nothing. What are we talking about? The developmental stages from 3 years old up until 13 years old, 14 years old. That's when the child develops character, develops behavior patterns and all of those things. Be there and take your child and mold the thinking. When you took your child, you took them to the best school in your neighborhood, large school, Bospec. That's where your child is being indoctrinated. So now you're wondering why your child does not want the mind, but your child wants the job at the mind.
That's another thing. People are always chasing jobs, but no one's creating anything. Is that a state of mind? What do you think? Was it planned that way? Because why are we looking for jobs and not trying to create?
Well, listen, I can only talk about agriculture because that's the field where I'm working, and now for a decade. It's not easy to farm at the commercial level. Like at the international level, it's even more difficult. The grading of your food, the cattle, the crops, the arranging the working force, the shift, the machinery, the implements, everything is not easy. If I had a land now that is open, and that land is 2,000 hectares, and I said, do you want the 2,000 hectares or do you want 5 million? Many South Africans will choose 5 million. Because remember, even in our jobs, we work for long. I started working in my late 30s, late 20s in the Department of Agriculture. Even if when I retire, when I'm 65 years old or 60, I will not get 5 million.
Ooh,
you see how this thing is set up.
Melo Ent is saying here, just because we are all black does not mean we are all the same. That's ignorance. SA is 88% black, but look how diverse our community is. AmaXhosa also have AmaXesibe, Mpondomise, AmaHlubi, and so on and so forth. So what's your response to that?
No, that's how these colonizers want us to think.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
they want us to think that if they hear that, it's music to their ears, because now they can target the ones that see themselves as a better black. You know, that's why you hear the MK political party say these people never fought us as a unit. They fought us as clans. Because when they attacked the Petty clan, the Xhosa clan was not it's not about us, so let the Petty let the
Yeah.
Zulus deal with their own problems. That's the problem. When I get in a plane right now and I go to China, when I land at the airport, they see a black man. They don't know if I'm Tsonga. They don't care if I'm Xhosa or whatever. I can get into the same plane and go to Germany. I am a black African man. And when you see white people also, you don't differentiate like Italian, no, Ungon is German. No, it's a white Caucasian man. They speak different languages, so do we. But in Bonabaskulangani, they have united. You know, the British united with the Dutch to completely take our country. It is that unity that they had, the British and the Dutch, to say, man, these monkeys, let's unite and let's draw a map of South Africa. Let's cut them into pieces. You take this piece, you take this piece. Because of that mentality of saying, but we are different as black people. Just because we are black, it does not mean we are the same. We are the same. We are the same in front of the court of law. The court of law does not care if you are a smart black or whatever. You are guilty until proven innocent.
Yes. And they always find out when they lose their jobs and then they have to go back to the township. That's when they realize that we're all black.
Many things happen. Small racist incidents and all of those things that happen to them, getting mistreated by clientele, outsurance, the garage, the mall, or anything your child experiencing racism at the school. That's when you realize that these people don't care my child is from the royal family. They just see a black child. That's all. So that's why I said, and I'll continue saying it. I mean, I've given up on you elders. I've been because the children, we can program them differently. To say when you see a black brother and sister from Namibia, you see your own blood. Defend and protect that brother and sister from Zambia. There is no difference. But if you don't start with the generation and carry it forward, Tina Pelin. And there's many people who will agree with Amara King. You can say whatever you want. We are different, Tina. I mean, I'm funny on page, Mina. What is it that I have in common with the petty man? Is the black skin, by the way.
The only thing you don't have in common is language. The rest is exactly the same. You know, you raised such a good point about the blacks who are different, the superior blacks. There's this sickness where it's exceptionalism, where if you go to like a good schools, whatever, you think that you're not quite like the other blacks, right? And I think that's a lot of the reason why we're not going to be free anytime soon, because they want to have the conversations about, oh, my child is at cricket, or my child is at St. David's or Pridwin or Rodine. They want to have those conversations because they make them feel so nice and they boost their egos. So for me, I think that our biggest challenge as the black community is the privileged blacks and the blacks who've got access, because they are the ones gatekeeping. So how do you think that we're going to get around that?
That's what I said when I spoke to about Gaten McKenzie. I never spoke to him. When he said the president of the Cricket Association and the rugby or whatever is all black. And I'm like, you don't understand these privileged blacks. They are different. That's why they are made to come in. Remember, even the middle class has been indoctrinated. The middle class,
especially
90%, if not more, comes from varsities. The upper middle class anyway, not the lower middle class. The lower middle class are Polo, Palambile, Njengathi, labo they understand. We are all black.
once.
But the upper middle class, they think going to school, studying hard, getting the best jobs, and now they think, man, I can't do this thing as a class. No, man. I need to stay in town. I need to be away from these blacks, man. But these blacks, you wake up in the morning, someone was digging on your gate. You don't understand what were they digging for there, and all of those things. Let me go to people who are civilized, man. I want civilized people, forgetting the history of how these townships were developed. I mean, I was listening to your show when that gentleman was speaking about the Val and how those communities came about where black people are. And I was so heartbroken with you, Avantova Mnyama. Hey, we've been suffering for years, yo. Who's going to save us? That's why someone asked, are we children of a lesser God? These ancestors that we pray to, this Jesus that we pray, this Muhammad, whoever that you are praying to as a black person, I can see what in. Where do our tears fall, Tina? Who's going to hear our cry? Because this is what I'm telling you. It's going to take, in my calculation, in my humble calculation, no less than 100 years to fix this thing if we start now. What do I mean?
How are we
the system of education has to change. When is that going to change? Gradually. And you have to win the politicians, you have to win the community, you have to win the mindset of the sister that just commented with Chinamatkosa as funny, all of those things. How long is it gonna take you to put a program? Because when the Dutch and the British came here, the Portuguese and the Germans came here, they put in their programs by force, by lashes, by the gunpowder. That's how their systems were entrenched in us very fast. Fear was installed in us very fast. So now we can't do that to our own people. We have to gradually to change with us so that we move in one pace. That's why PASETA is in Namibia, in Lesotho, in Uganda, in Angola. Because I believe as a collective, you can't finish fixing South Africa and then you say, okay, let me start with Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is far behind from you. Develop Zimbabwe, South Africa, and everybody with this great mindset that you have of uniting Africans. Let's do it at the same time.
I'm so glad you brought up Zimbabwe. I was going to ask you what you think of Zimbabwe.
Zimbabweans, they've... okay, first of all, I was in the opinion to say Zimbabwean men are cowards. That was my first initial thought about Zimbabwe. The way the votes have been rigged in that country countless times. Like, people are running away from that country. Educated people are just running away. And I'm like, how? These guys, they can't stand up. Then you realize that Zimbabwe, even the police don't carry guns. Only the army does. You as a civilian, you don't have a gun. So how are you going to fight? Well, I was thinking to myself, your felony as a normal protester. How many protesters have died right now in Mozambique? That guy was inaugurated last week. Because we don't strategize our fights properly. Then I said, no, man, but Zimbabwe does not have Moses, does not have someone that can save them. Oh, Nelson Chamisa is shame. Yeah. You know, shame. Shame, man. Shame, man. That a man was arrested and beaten up in jail and he came back a different man. It's like, shame, man. You know. So the situation of Zimbabwe, I speak about the advanced integrated border system. We have to integrate our borders with Zimbabwe and our departments with Zimbabwe. If you
That would be
believe
awesome.
that there are illegal Zimbabweans mining in your country underground, do you know what is the best way to get Zimbabweans' attention? Close their border and close and cancel all the flights to Zimbabwe. And say every time when you guys do this to our country, we punish the country. You will see Zimbabweans will behave. It's extreme, I understand. It's very extreme.
Yo.
Very extreme. Lesotho people, don't come to my land because I don't come to your land and harass your people. We are closing the border this week. Nobody's coming this week. As we are still dealing with these 87 brothers of yours that we find underground. Unfortunately, you have to go to those extremes to protect your own people. My problem is that measures will only happen to black people, black against black.
Yes.
It will only happen to black. There will never be a case where it is a white person or a white country. Let's say we find somebody from Germany or from the US doing something here. We will never dare cancel the flights of USA to South Africa. Never. So that's the downfall of that situation. And you say every time we've got ladies that are giving birth here in South Africa, we will have them as South Africans. But the bill, you will pay it. If you don't pay it, then I'm sorry, you can't cross to our side. Even the legal people, until we resolve this bill of 15,000 of yesterday of this week, until we resolve this bill, because who must carry this bill?
Yo. And this is connected to this so-called Afrophobia, xenophobia. What do you think? I mean, because initially I thought that no, we're so evil. But now as you see it play out and you see that the Zimbabwean children, the other children are getting into the schools, but not our children. And then you start understanding what was upsetting the people. And then you understand, okay, they were upset about jobs also because now Zimbabweans are coming or the other nationalities are coming and becoming cheap labor.
Yeah,
and white people are going to support that because they want cheap labor.
We have to be careful not to fall into the EFF trap as pushing Pan-Africanism. And I'm pushing Pan-Africanism in inverted commas because really who practices it properly in its entirety, the term Pan-Africanism. You cannot, by being a Pan-Africanist, not be patriotic to your own country as well. Yeah. And listen to the voices of the people. Yeah. You understand? Because when you want to fight for Zimbabweans, but Zimbabweans don't want to fight for themselves. They don't want to meet you halfway. You understand? So now you get a situation where I saw somewhere in the news, on the newspapers, and I saw it was the Patriotic Alliance, so I don't know if I should believe it. And there was something like 200 Zimbabwean learners admitted in a school, and South Africans did not get space. What do you then do as a Pan-Africanist? What are you saying? They must stay there. The South African children must not have space. Are you saying we must go the route of King said so? We must build more schools. Are you saying in the Pan-African School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture, we must not have foreign children? What are you saying? What is it that we are saying actually? That's it. Listen, I don't have an exact answer to that. It's a very difficult and a very sensitive matter because once South Africans see, when are you for Nigerians? They will tell you straight, EFF is a voter Nigeria again. The Zimbabweans will vote for you. Right?
It's very personal.
Very personal.
It's very personal. And you can see that, I mean, even when that Chidima thing played out, that was when we were like saying, no, guys. But then when you sit down and think about it, you think, why would a people react so violently? And then you realize that people's feelings are valid and it's coming from somewhere. And where it's coming from is the situation. And even, I mean, the South Africans also complain that other nationalities come and make our space dirty. Like when you see like Hillbro or Yeovil, you know, it just gets so nasty. And then you're just like, okay, so now where do we put our Pan-Africanism when people bazokanga la bamoshe bayenze mdaka, but when they go back to their countries, go clean.
Here's my take on that. Here's my take on turning violent and taking your law into your own hands. Hello, South Africans. Konje, you must understand that you are staying with your colonizers. Because you must understand that the Oppenheimers are the fourth and fifth generation. You must understand that they are stealing from you. South Africans, you must also understand that you as a black person are paying more for a car loan, home loan, or whatever. The banks are charging us as black people more. As South Africans, you must also understand that the rand is manipulated, and it's been manipulated since when President Zuma started being a president. So what angers you is labantu laba bathathe umkhukhu istende space esikolweni. That one, it angers you to the point, or bathathe umsebenzi wakho KFC, or they whatever they did, they take from you. That one, it angers you to the point of being violent, or to the point of killing your African brothers. But the other things that I mentioned, no, the minerals are still not in your hands. Your land is still not in your hands. That one does not anger you. That's what that's my problem with South Africa. You say Chidima, they all stand up, they're all patriotics, they all can fight, they all can blacklist, they all can chase a little girl away. And you say land, nobody's land yard. Uba notice funny land thina. Ungazosipora wena ngale Pan-Africanism yakho. Siwisaphi umhlaba thina. Ufuna umsebenzi mina. You see, so for me, that shows me just how dangerous we are as South Africans. To say we can go to factories and say, yeah, you see, they're hiring foreigners, but nobody goes to the farms and say, you see, they're hiring foreigners. Nobody went to the farms. Nobody.
Well, you know, you keep referring to PASETA. Some people here might not know what PASETA is. Do you want to break it down to us what it is?
Yeah, I'm citing because of the moment task that PASETA has. PASETA is an abbreviation for
yes.
PASETA is an abbreviation for Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology, and Agriculture. And I'm thinking, hey, the word Pan-Africanist chases South Africans away. South Africans don't want to hear that nonsense. Pan-African is dying. But anyway, those who care to listen, PASETA is an idea that we as Africans, we as black people, have to build our own school the way we think that our country must move in a direction. What do I mean by that? Our country has got a problem with land. When eventually we do get our land, of which is going to be very difficult and it's going to take a long time. Eventually, when we do get our land, our children going to be able to farm. Will our children understand what to do with the land? You understand? Technology. Everybody's looking at China as the big technological global house here in the world. Why is it that Africa cannot do that? Why is it that our schools can't have the best technology ever? Where you bring a broken microwave and the children, they break that microwave. I'm talking about grade 1 to grade 5. Breaking that microwave and the motor is broken. This thing is not spinning. What is going on? That type of teaching. Why can't we do that for our children? And also having the bigger picture that Africa as a country with 54 states, like the United States of of America. We can have the United States of Africa. The United States of Africa has got everything it needs to survive. It does not need anyone else. Are we going to breed future leaders that will be able to manage our minerals? And also, the last thing about PASETA is the issue of language and culture and heritage. You know, 90% of the heritage, they call it art, is lying there in Belgium, in Germany, in Italy, in the museum. They call it art because heritage is a different meaning. Heritage is an understanding, a group understanding of historical ways of doing things. That is heritage. That thing that you put there is an art, but that art is deeper than just being a piece that you stole from Nigeria, from Botswana, from here in South Africa, and everywhere. We've got body parts of South Africans that are in museums overseas. I mean, proper human body parts. You understand? So we want to teach our children, here is the history, but this history that you have, this is what you must do with it. You know, the direction of, okay, I learned history, so what? Yes, I learned it about I think 1652. So what? The so what is what we want to answer at PASETA. So we are building a school. We found land in the Northern Cape, in Barkley West. It's about 30 kilometers outside Kimberley. We have started building. When I say we are building because we have asked South Africans to donate each 50 rand, and South Africans are really doing it. To many people's surprise. They are really doing it. It's not enough, but it gets the dream going each and every day. So we decided, no man, let's make a gala dinner where we can invite all the stakeholders, all our supporters, and they can come to Kimberley, and then we can present this PASETA thing, you know, the floor plan, just how much PASETA will cost and everything. All of those things. There's a team of us, 5 in South Africa. And let me tell you something that you don't know. I've never met the team of PASETA personally. I mean, face to face. All of these people are YouTube people. I've never met them. We send each other IDs. We register the NGO. We've got a bank account. We've got a website. I have never met these people. That gives me so much hope that this thing is possible. I've never even, when we come for the gala dinner, I'll be meeting everyone of PASETA for the first time. Imagine my excitement on that day.
When is the gala dinner?
So the gala dinner is on the 2nd of May. It's a 2-day event. The gala dinner is on the 2nd of May. It's on a Friday at 6 o'clock at night. And then the fundraising event is on Saturday, where we'll be taking people to the building site, and we'll be having a wall where people can lay one brick to know that they are the ones who built the foundation of this beautiful idea, the Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture. So the 2nd and the 3rd of May is our event, it's our weekend that day.
Incredible. And people can get the details on all your platforms, I get.
Yeah, the easiest way is to just go to www.paseta.co.za, which is PASETA, PASETA. So if you go on www.paseta.co.za, all the information is there.
Okay, because even when if you've got stuff on your phone now, I don't know if you saw the prompts there, you're able to share. So if you've got a flyer or anything, you are able to share it on this live stream. Yeah, there we go. You see, King's brain just went tick, 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 tick. I want us to deal with some of the comments in the audience. Are you winning? Oh, Gonja, I'm going to have to accept it. You'll tell me when it's up. Oh, look at us losing the guest. Okay, I think he just, but he'll be back just now, guys. He'll be back just now. Because I know all these comments are actually more for him. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to MOYA Podcast, guys, for more of this content. Watch this morning's episode with Ndate Pitika Ntuli. Incredible episode. We also have Twitter Spaces tomorrow night. We've got the political economists. He's the one that exposed that SMWX is funded by George Soros. Yeah, we're gossiping here in this corner. We're going to have Kim Hiller on Thursday. And okay, I'm getting... There we go. Can you hear us now? Are you cool? Are you there?
Am I back?
Yes, you're back. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. King here,
I'm not gonna press anything. People
Don't
just go
press.
to King Says So on YouTube
I will post.
or
I will post on my social medias.
www.paseta.co.za.
You know, Mele Entertainment is saying that King doesn't understand. We need to survive. We are not living, we are surviving. We need those slave jobs. The land and mine issues are too big to handle as of now. We don't have that power. Mm-hmm.
King does not understand we need to survive. We are not living. We are surviving. We need those slave jobs. I didn't call them slave jobs, but anyway, the land and the mines issue is too big. It's too big to handle. As for now, we don't have that much power. We are going to why it mean I've given up on the older generation. This is a person that has given up in the restoration of African dignity. I must be concerned about me, about my family. Don't tell me about land. Don't tell me about the mines. Uyoenza nezinto lezo. Mina ngifuna ibhadala i-DSTV, ngifuna i-polo, ngifuna i-double cap, ngifuna indlu. I just want the RDP. Give me a house with a pool at the back. I'm sorted. Le nto leyo ukuthi us blacks must get what belongs to us. Imakancane ngayo wena King. Le nto yakho Pan-Africanism, you don't understand. Thina sifuna ukusurvive nje phela. And that is the reality of that person. We must not undermine that mindset because it's true. Many Africans think like that.
Yeah.
And I just told you, many of them will choose money. And that's the mindset that these people have installed in us. Remember when they were taking us, out of the township to the town, because only the black elites could stay in towns when in the 80s and the 70s. They were choosing carefully who is it they come. There's a reason why the Oppenheimers paid for the school fees of Cyril Ramaphosa. There's a reason why he first worked for them. There's a reason why they showed you guys leave this thing of fighting for people. Stop fighting for people. Just get a job for yourself. Come be a good boy here. Don't be a clever black, and then everything will be fine. This is the mentality that I'm trying to fight, and I understand it. I understand it, truly I do. You understand? Because now I've got an option to just sit back and say, man, let me just take care of my family, man. In fact, we are doing well. Let me just focus on a bigger house, bigger car. My children must go to it. That's what they want to limit us to as black people. What are they doing? They're building Orania. Orania, for those who don't know, Orania is now out of the Tembelihle municipality. They are no longer part of a municipality. Last year, when you guys were celebrating Heritage Day, go and fact check me. They were cutting ribbons to batteries where they were totally off the grid of ESCOM. They don't need ESCOM anymore or in Orania. They've got their own water supply. No way now you want to build only a house for yourself. But they are working as a group. They have nothing, they have unity. They are like me and you. They are poor. They are poor. They are average African people that went there at Orania. But look at what they have built. So Mina, now we're going to fight with them and say, not in our country, because we are not building anything.
Yeah.
Because everybody is concerned about them and their family. And that is why 2029 will come and still we have not built anything. Not a hospital built by a community, not a bridge built by a community. Children are falling in big toilets. You are waiting for government to come and build a flushing toilet for your children. You, the community, fell in the big toilet in the Eastern Cape. Each and every year we are having this problem. The community can't build it because everybody is worried about themselves. Asumntwana wami. Yongibazwela ubuhlungu yazi. Lo mntwana waze wahama isuriji waze wafa. You don't care. You don't care.
Do you remember?
So that's what I'm saying to someone that says that Ukinga understand. Ukinga understand it. Who understand the bigger picture?
Yeah. Let's go to Mcebo Mazia says Chidima was an event that folks could focus on in a way that was socially expedient for conversation to happen. It was harder to focus on systematic racism and poverty to attack. It's very opaque. Eh, nyakumsha kodwa Mcebo. You. Ewe.
Listen, each and every week, each and every month, social media, mainstream media gives us a distraction so that we don't focus on what I'm talking about, African unity and everything, building things for our children. Lentwana Chidima went for months. School Mangayo. And it was during that time, go back during that time and check what the solidarity movement was doing with AfriForum in America. When you were fighting Chidima, you were busy galvanizing support for their programs. They are building an all Africans university, by the way, there in Gauteng. You know that.
You're stressing
They're
me.
building an Africans university. An Africans university. So if you want to go there, it's a private university for Africans speaking people. No, King. Let's fight Chidima first. That's going to Mama Chidima is wrong. And you can focus on that for 3 months on Chidima. You can't even focus on cutting weight, on saving money for 3 months. But Chidima, every day you are tweeting and attacking the poor again.
Shit. But then, okay, so let's talk about these grown-ups. When we look at them, they are drinking a lot. They are partying every weekend. The women are all fake. They've put their energy on lashes that look crazy and hair that looks like white people's. The men are they're not men anymore. The men are just not men are not manning. And so because you had said earlier on you've given up on the adults. But that's who the adults are.
Our culture is so and I've seen with me, the more you buy a BMW, get a promotion, it's like you now has got power over your uncle, your grandfather. They can't call you to order anymore because when we say family gathering, he's the one that buys income. He's the one that buys it. This is the type of mentality that we are dealing with here. The muntu lo commenter like that, so they bring that here on social media because nobody tells them what to do, where to get off on at home. So now the African culture is lost. The Europeans and the Americans, they say trust is earned. The Africans say trust is taught. Meaning not trust, respect, excuse me. They say respect is earned, and we say respect is taught. And in the respect is taught, it means uhlonipha umntwana, uhlonipha umuntu omdala, uhlonipha everyone. People will attack you on YouTube and wish death upon you. No respect. No respect for themselves, no respect for you.
You know, I'm seeing that Melo Ent is in a live debate with you, live. And what I want to suggest, I don't usually do this, is that I'm going to post the link in the comment section. I'm going to post the link to this live stream. And if anybody wants to come and join on screen and engage you on screen, then so Melo Ent, this is actually done specifically for you. I'm just getting I'm copying the thing onto the comment section. You can just now I just remember I need to remember how I comment here. Snap. Oh Nkosiyam. Because I wanted to put it on there because yeah. Yeah, Zangazi. Because I know I did it be oh maybe if I make it a banner. Hopefully. Oh my God. Oh shucks. I don't know why Lesego was on stage. So there was a I don't know if you can write that thing there because I don't know where to put the comment, how I put the comment in the because I used to do this with my family last time, but manje sengikhohliwe ukuthi ngiytype kuphi le link ukuthi bazongena. But as you know, online you can just copy these words and click on there and it'll take you straight to my guest section, and then I'll be able to add you onto the screen because this is quite heated because people feel offended because they feel powerless and they are frustrated. That's the reality of the situation. And when you say the mines are all the way go kai, you know, and we are in Soweto. So what the hell do you mean that we must, you know, what power do I have when the economy is so far away from me, you know?
Yeah, it's because when you are thinking it as an individual, we will always be powerless. Any community that stands up as a unit, it's very difficult to ignore it. Sometimes service delivery, the ANC has taught us that if you want service delivery, go and burn a tire, will take you serious. It has gotten to that point where if you go alone at a municipal office and complain, they do nothing. But if you go as a community and go and protest and picket and whatever, that's the only time they come. Yeah, the president will come wherever they are and say, no, there's a crisis in Kimberley. Let me go hear what these people are saying. Because the Kimberley people have said they are hurtful, enough is enough. So when as an individual, I understand why you are powerless. There's nothing you can do. Even me, as PASETA, the Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture, I don't think we can change the community in terms of language as a single institution. Other institutions have to come to play, other organizations. The Solidarity Movement, for those who don't know, is an organization, it's an umbrella organization that has got 30 NGOs underneath it. And one of those organizations is AfriForum, Afrikaner Kartier, what can I name? Orania movement. What do they call it? There's so many. You can just Google the Solidarity Movement and you will see the organizations under it that support that one umbrella. The African people have mastered this thing of unity. Even now, they are still taking you guys, your president and your minister of education to court for the Bella bill. They don't want to integrate with you guys. They don't want your children in their what you call in the same class with their children. They don't want you guys. Why can't you guys build your own? And we are mixing two things. Yeah, we want to build our own, but as football in our country, we want to remind them that they are settlers here and they must behave as such. You understand what I'm saying, my queen? So, my queen team. I understand why people feel powerless. Kunzima is not easy. But I'll tell you, you alone, you will never change anything. You have to be involved in a group of people, in an organization, in a group of organizations to change people.
I'm so stressed. I don't know why I can't put this in the comment section, but I see Melo Int does want to come on. Hopefully that link will work. And anybody else actually who wants to come and engage, King said so. The link is on screen. You can just copy it into your URL. What. You guys know the terms. You should be able to go in. I think, or maybe it's because I'm on my. Oh, there we go. Melo End is gonna get you, King. It always becomes more interesting when there's conversation. Melo End, are you gonna show us yourself, or you're not ready for that? It's too soon.
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, no. Now it's too soon for the camera. It's too soon. It's too soon.
Okay. We are listening.
Okay, so wait, which topic should I touch on?
What you are burning about whatever. So just take out whatever was in your chest.
All right, okay, let's start with the culture thing. Eh? They wanna put on about Sudanese people, right? So, King, what I want to understand is in terms of this thing of just uniting, just all of us Africans, just listen, we are all black, we are one. So this thing of the Sudanese people having to bury, I'm not gonna put it in all of them, but through what we've seen, Sudanese people, you have a culture of burying people inside their homes, right? So us as of a different culture, should we accept that thing of, hey, he's gonna bury someone inside the house, and that should be normalized? Because to me, that is not normal to bury someone's dead body underneath the living room. How are you going to integrate such cultures that are too extreme? That's what I want to know. Like, how are we going to integrate those cultures?
King, are you going to respond?
Okay, can I go?
Oh, you want him to do all of the questions?
Yeah, no. I got the question about the issue of culture, integration, and all of that. I'm asking, can I respond?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you so much for your point, the point that you raised is so beautiful, so beautiful. Did the Afrikaner people change their culture when they united with the British to fight us? Did the Afrikaner take the British culture? Did the Afrikaner take the traditions and culture and norms of how the British people did their things? The answer is no. The Sudanese who buries the person in their home, is it in your home? Is it for you to accept? If my children don't get circumcised and your children go and get circumcised, why is it that I'm worried about your children getting their foreskins removed? And you went for an extreme example of burial. Now, when we say Africans must unite, we are not talking about the cultures. You must remain Xhosa. I must remain respectfully Tsonga. But economically, and politically, we must become one for the benefit of African people. What do we mean by that? If we want our children to unite in the schools behind one language, the Xhosa kingdom must come, the Tsonga kingdom must come, the Pedi kingdom must come, everybody must come and say, okay, this is what we want. This is the language that we choose. Let's say, for example, in South Africa, we say the most spoken language is Zulu. Let's all unite behind Zulu. And because it is a little bit developed in terms of biblical studies. But again, when educational sense. So when we come to tradition, we will teach each other to be tolerant and respectful of each other's tradition. There is no way. Me. I'm going to understand everything that they are doing in Sudan. There's never, and they will never understand everything. But they need to respect it the way we are respecting the European culture in terms of the indoctrination that they did on us, in terms of language, in terms of culture. Some of us, no, I need a fork and knife. I can't eat with my hands. We took that culture and we put it in us. You know, I know it's barbaric to eat with your hands and all of those things. And so many examples can come when it comes to culture. But me burying my mother in my backyard or in the house or something like that, does that change the economical environment? Does that change the land issue? Does that change the educational fight? You know, people died in 1976. They were shot down for Africans. If you bury your mother in your backyard, does children get, does Africans go away? So be tolerant for other people's cultures. You understand? And it is up to that culture to say we need to evolve with time. This thing of burying inside the house, that conversation can be taken out respectfully and say, but you guys, Tina, we come from another culture. We believe in witchcraft and all of those things. So when we see such things, it's all of a concern to us. You understand? And other cultures, they can say they can bend their culture because Africans, we have completely bent our culture for European people. And we can do the same for our African people also. We can be tolerant, we can be understanding, and all of those things. So there's no need to fight my culture because my culture is different from you. And I'll always go back to that example. Whether I buried my grandmother in my house or my father in my house, as long as I get into a plane and I go overseas, they don't see a man that buried someone in the house. They see a black man. That is very important. We are black and we must unite. We are black and we must unite.
Okay, I think Melo Ent is having network issues, but they're back. Melo Ent, can I ask you to mute yourself whenever King is speaking because Connie feedback in Zagalayo. But you want to ask your next question. Before that, Dexter is asking how to engage. Dexter, that StreamYard link that you're seeing on screen will take you to my little guest office. So that is how you guys can engage. You just click on, type that into the thingy, and then it'll into the URL or whatever, and then it will come to the to me, and I'll let you in. Melo, we're ready for you again.
Okay, hello, Navagar.
We have Agal.
Okay,
It's better
thank you.
now, actually.
Oh, okay. So, okay, I can hear you, King. All right. So let me clear this one of the Boers and the English. So here in Cape Town, I'm in Cape Town right now. I'm like Western Cape. So what I've noticed here is that when you get closer to town, you'd find that okay, you'd see that they are united under this Afrikaans language. But in actuality, when you go to town, you can see that actually no, there is a French school, there is a German school, there is an English school. Do you understand? So what I'm trying to say is that they may pose this unity of we are white, we must protect each other, but actually these people behind closed doors, they are actually not that united. But to us as guests, as Africans, is that it's like it's open doors to us. That hey, you are this, you are that. But to them, they hide, they put it behind closed doors. And what I'm trying to say is that I agree with you. Yes, we can do such things, but it will take time to say evolutionize and say you can't do this, you can't do that, and all of that. If I'm not making any sense, if I'm not making myself clear, is that how can we? Let's start here with SADC. How can we like look at the Zimbabweans? How they are, not the whole country, but the whole of them are here in South Africa. I'm in Cape Town. I'm far from town. I'm not okay. I'm not. Let me not say my location, but I'm far from town where the jobs are, where the good schools are, where the quality of life is actually good. The Zimbabweans come. The properties there near town, they are owned by white people. The businesses owned by white people. Nah? get this clear. They hire the Zimbabweans, cheap labor. And guess what they do? They lower the rent there for them so that they can put them in those houses. Us who are trying to move there close to town, we can't even get it. We can't even get a glimpse of town because we are so far away. Opportunities are far. Jobs are far. Everything is so far and far away. When we say we want to get this better quality of life, we are blocked. But then when it comes to the Zimbabweans, when you try to tell them, listen, try to understand that we are dying here as South Africans. Please just try to understand that. It may look all good and what in the paper, South Africa is this, South Africa is that. But in actuality, we are dying here as Black South Africans. We are trying to survive. We're not even surviving. We are trying it at these times. We are not living. We are far from saying that we are actually alive as Black South Africans because everything is locked here in Cape Town. Everything is locked in town. We are trying to survive. We try to go to like I nearly got a job by the there's this restaurant by in VNA. Okay, let me not say its name. I tried to get a job there, right? But okay. Sorry about that. We are trying to get that job there. Let me tell you something. When I got there, I found Zimbabweans, which is okay. I found Zimbabweans and everything. Those people only not, and this is the thing about people saying South Africans are lazy, this and that. Last year I've been applying the whole year. What I'm trying to say is I tried to get into a restaurant. I found Zimbabweans and everything. The what's this like head? Those ones are the head in the kitchen. It's a Zimbabwean guy. Waiters, Zimbabweans, everything. Now I'm trying to put myself in there, but guess what? The Zimbabweans uniting themselves in that restaurant, telling the white men, no, not this one. How can I deal with that? Because I'm trying to indulge myself. I'm trying to put myself where I can actually get a nicer living, sure, but that will not only help me, but will only help. I'd say, listen, I'd help men. The dreams also as I have as a South African to say, listen, I want us to take South Africa forward, but we can't. We are locked as Black South Africans. We are locked, trying to survive. So I want to answer to me that how can we actually try and get to the say Zimbabweans, please listen. Can you just work with us? Because the Zimbabweans here, let me tell you, they don't like us. They work with the white people, King. I can tell you one thing. You think, no, we are united. I'm telling you, we are far from uniting. I don't know how it is in Kimberley, but here in Cape Town, these Zimbabweans are far from saying that we are uniting with black people. They'd rather be pets to the white men that say, how we are uniting with, especially us, Like we are, the colours don't like us here in Cape Town. The colours don't like us. The whites don't like us. The Indians don't like us. These immigrants don't like us. How are we going to survive? That's what I'm trying to know. How are we going to survive? Because we are literally living by a thread. I can see, and I'm trying to understand this, because Marcus Garvey with Pan-Africanism is beautiful. But the way it is being used now, like literally, it is off-put. That's why it's off-putting to many South Africans, because the way it is used, it is being exploited to many different ways. It is being exploited to like I don't even know the extent. So that's what I'm trying to say is, how can you actually implement this? How can you implement this? Listen, it's time to unite. Why don't like that's what I'm saying? Like, why don't you start at home? South Africans, we know as Xhosas and Zulus and everyone's, we are not that merry with each other. Why don't we start at home? Bring ourselves together. South Africa has like has a potential to save, but it cannot save static whilst the situation is now. I don't know if I'm all over the place, but what I'm trying to say is, why can't we start home? South Africans, start home. Let me, when I go to Johannesburg, let me not struggle with to trying to understand or trying to understand. Let's have our own language as South Africans. Sipeti, like Sipeti unites these two languages and the Nguni languages. Sipeti is like a unity. I can understand the Sipeti much more. I will understand Setswana and everything. I'm saying, let us start here as South Africans. Let us build here, and then we move forward. Because Botswana will be easy to bring into South Africa, like, because they already Botswana. Lesotho is already like Lesotho. We already have here. What's the small one? Swaziland. We can bring it here just like that. Why don't we start here and bring us ourselves to a position of power where we can say we are? Look at Mali. Mali inspired Burkina Faso, and as soon as Burkina Faso was like catching up, Mali took Burkina Faso and they started to work like so. Niger came. I'm seeing you shaking your head, King. Am I wrong?
Yes. Okay, but let me allow you to finish your point, my brother. I don't want to disturb you. Respectfully.
Okay. Thank you. So what I'm trying to say is really like, what is the problem starting at home? That's what I'm trying to understand. What is the problem starting at home and saying we're gonna, cause we're at the lowest of the barrel as Black South Africans? What is wrong saying we're gonna just try to put us in a position where we can say, okay, we are fine here. Let's, cause Zimbabweans, we can support Zimbabweans. Like if they can set up to Nanga, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not gonna put like that guy. We can support them. They did so for us, right? They did so for us. We went to their borders and crossed and did everything to learn and everything and came back to fight. We can do that for them. We can go fight there in Zimbabwe. We are not that we fear anything. We can. But what I'm trying to say is like lyric, really like what is wrong? What is wrong with saying let us start here in South Africa and see our way moving forward? You understand? Thank you.
Sorry, King, sorry, can I just, before you answer, Mcebo Mazia, please just type this thing into the top section of the internet. Izakfaga Paya. I don't know how to go to my comments. I think I was meant to be on my laptop for that and disappointing. So, unless, yeah, no, actually just type in, because Ulantuka, that's how Melo Ent got in, correct? Melo Ent, you just typed this thing into the URL, ne?
Yes, I did. I'm using another phone, so just type it there in the go to Chrome, type the link there, and then it will show up. Simple as it.
Okay, Mcebo, so that's how you get into the live conversation, and anybody else who would like to join in, it's as simple as just typing in that link and then izakufaka kahle. So King, do you want to respond then?
Thank you so much, my queen, and thank you to the brother for the beautiful input there. As my brother says, in Cape Town, the white people are hiring Zimbabweans. They are even lowering the rent of the houses close to town, and these people are full there in the restaurants. But the problem is not the white people. The problem is the Zimbabwe. You understand what I'm trying to say? When we say start here at home, we mean start with the settlers, not with our brothers. You own Cape Town. You hire the Zimbabweans. You own the land. You don't fight for the job. Fight for the ownership of that land. That is what the white people are doing. They said Western Cape must be isolated from the entire of South Africa because they want to own the Western Cape. Why not you want the job? That's the problem we are having. You think chasing the Zimbabweans away will solve your problem. The next thing you'll be complaining, no, the white master is mistreating me at work. He never paid me. He never did this to me because you don't want to own the factory. You want to own the job. That's the problem. The black people have got this mindset, which is, I think, man, let me in, man. Inclusion, Rainbow Nation. Let's all us peel together. We are the only people that think like that. The white man is hiring Zimbabweans. The white man is the problem. Zimbabweans must go home, and then what? When their country is not working, they're going to jump this imaginary border of yours. You're going to have problem of crime. We saw in Mozambique, criminals escaping from prison. Because you're not integrated with that government, you don't even know the people that came this side. I saw ENCA interviewing one of them who said, no, we paid the people at the border and we crossed to South Africa. You understand what I'm saying? Can you hear me, Sis Mtike?
We can hear you perfectly. I think
Okay.
network.
Okay. So that's the problem we're having in South Africa. We don't see the bigger problem, we see the small problem. And it's not to say,
King,
I'm struggling. I want a job. We are not surviving. We are suffering in our country. All right. But the reason you are suffering is because of the settlers, not because of the Zimbabweans.
so, but then what are you saying? South Africa, because this guy, it's valid what he's saying. He's saying, I mean, even in Cape Town, you know, Guti, public transport, it stops at a certain time, which means that Upas John has created a system to keep black people out. And we as Gutabana Malabana Imoto, Melebatati public transport. So public transport is of Pelang 5 to ensure Guti by 5 o'clock, all the animals go back to the zoo.
Yeah, the first thing is that nobody follows the rules. If government says no single restaurant in South Africa must employ more than 2 Zimbabweans, the restaurants don't follow that. We saw in Brooklyn, in Pretoria, and in Ming Lane what happened. They were being exposed last year. They don't follow the rules because they don't fear the rules. You understand? When I take the fight to our level, that is where we are. You understand? If out today can go with a community and they go to that restaurant that hires the Zimbabweans and say nobody will enter this restaurant, they will be hired tomorrow if they deploy the EFF tactic. You understand?
Yeah.
If you go there and fight, but you alone, you can't do anything. Me, I'm in the Northern Cape. I can assist you with your Western Cape problem. But if you really want change and you want it now, take a group of young black ladies and gentlemen, their CVs, type them, print them, put them in an envelope, go to that restaurant that you claim has got a lot of Zimbabweans and say, nobody will enter here. We are available to work. And you must remember, they make them work like dogs. Their hours are crazy. Everything is crazy. When next week, because you are a South African, you know your right, you'll be saying, I work straight shifts without any rest. Next month, you are quitting. That is the statistics that we got from Checkers. Checkers said the South Africans that enroll in their program of the 60-60, 80% of them quit within a month. Yeah, but so it's difficult. It's difficult. But there's the solution. I gave him the solution. Get the unemployed people in your community. Go to those restaurants. Make a noise. If you can't make proper noise, get somebody with a red overall and go there and do something. I'm sure even the MK can assist you. Just go to a political party, identify the restaurant, but get your facts right. Go to that restaurant and establish exactly how many Zimbabweans are there. Get your facts right when you go to the politicians and try and fight it in that way. But I'm saying the bigger fight is owning that land, is owning that restaurant, is inclusion in that economy, not participation, not just the participation. You understand? But anyway, our dream is not the same, all of us as Africans. So yeah, it's unfortunate what he says, but I think that solution will work for him.
You know, when you say that, that's actually how apartheid ended, was that we stay away, which affected the economy of white people. So it wasn't that white people thought, okay, let's have a rainbow nation. It's just that we affected their economics, and that's why the apartheid actually ended. So I think this solution of yours, of taking to the streets, and you know, so I don't know how we're gonna move past.
That's why the ANC went with the DA, Standra. That's why the ANC went with the DA. The warnings were there. But if you dare go with these darkies, if you include the EFF, I mean the warnings were so clear from Helen Zille. If you include the MK, that the rand will fall the next day. South Africans will not handle sanctions. South Africans don't want to see sanctions. Hey, South Africans are by Funileyo because South Africans have got nowhere to run to. They're not like Zimbabwe. They can't run next door. When South Africans get sanctions, the USA imposes sanctions on South Africa and say, what you guys are doing, we don't support your government. We are taking our products off. And Johan Rupert gets out of South Africa. The richest man in Africa, by the way, is Johan Rupert. Johan Rupert, it's not a joke. He calls the president directly. They talk man to man, those ones. He contributes to the economy like more than anything, alone. If that man says to Helen Zilla, listen, I don't want those EFF overalls in government. They are not going to be in government. Because South Africans will turn against EFF, say, EFF, since we gave you power, look, now we are suffering, there's no sanctions, i-DSTV, internet ayisebenzi, i-Vodacom iyacima, MTN is moving out of South Africa. South Africans will be crying and begging the white people to bring back their companies because they don't know how to build from scratch. It's the same thing in my tuck shop. I asked if we were running the tuck shop industry, the township economy, why is it that Umazibugu and Mabena and Numtweni could not meet and build a supermarket? Why couldn't they build a supermarket? Why is it that ShopRite is now dominating this space? Why is it that the white shops are coming in now into our township, competing with my friend? You compete my friend, and you compete on ShopRite. And mind you, that thing about my friend is quiet now. It was a distraction for December, that 21 days. It was a big distraction. Now we are so quiet. We are waiting for another child to die, by the way. We are just waiting so that we can wake up again.
No, but we don't wake up because that was warfare. Babulela bantwana bethu, guys.
Yes.
And they did it deliberately. And then,
yes.
As you say, it was strategic, it was deliberate. And that shows, we're not ready for revolution. Nabo mama bakiswe ihaku.
If someone kills your child, and you do nothing, you will never do anything for anything.
You're not ready.
If they can take your future generation in numbers, how many children had to die? We did nothing. So, my friend, Abasabi. No, I get umuntu osabayo namaZimbabwean but it's fine. Ngizafela khona South Africa. The Nigerians they say, you will do nothing, my brother. I've been here, go sit here. What you do? Nobody is scared of us, Tina. Nobody's scared of us because we do nothing. I mean, teachers can discriminate children because of their hair. They are not afraid of the whole black community. That's why they're doing that. Yeah, that's what I told you in the beginning. I said the ANC has made us to become tolerant, man. We are tolerant. Making sense. Rubbish making sense. We are just tolerant to it. We hear what Abantu they've been manipulating the rand. No black person was angry. Show me one black person was angry about rand manipulation. Imagine you're buying bread 22 rand and the bread is supposed to be 15 rand. You are not angry that all this time you've been paying the wrong price for petrol. You're not angry. Nothing will make you angry. Nothing.
No. Nothing. We're not ready for revolution.
That's why I go back to the fact that Nina Vantabatala Nyabonga and just imali to build the school so that the next generation can start on a better footing. Start them very young. Build the Thomas Sankaras and Lumumbas and the Bikos and the Hanis from a small age, from a very small age, a delicate age of 5 years to 13 years old. When those children get into varsity, they must be revolutionaries. They must shake that whole space. If by that time we have not built varsities of our own, because I wonder when is the black community going to build a varsity of their own, not by government, by the community, just like the Dutch people are doing, just like they are doing. How many schools have they built?
Nah, you Fred Bantu saying SA revolutionaries wear red bottom shoes planning for Durban July.
Hayi, hayi kubuhlungu bafethu, kubuhlungu bafethu. Hayi kubuhlungu. It pains us because you don't know if you are revolutionaries, must you look poor, must you not have taste for fashion, and if you do have taste for fashion, isn't there anything African that you can wear, especially for big events? If me now was a politician in big events, I would wear proudly South African or African brands for big events. When the shiny Louis Vuitton yami, dealing relaxing or whatever, because I love Louis Vuitton. If I do, I don't. But for big events where the whole country is going to see me, I'm going to rock my African attire for sure, for sure. But that does not mean you are not a revolutionarist if you do that. But unfortunately, it happens. What are we gonna say? What are we gonna say?
I find that a bit of a clash. I find that if you say you're a revolutionary and Pan-Africanist, it means that you want to put the ideals of Africans in front, right? So if you are now buying Louis Vuittons and stuff like that, that is just, I'm imitating Europeans, I'm imitating whites, I'm empowering our Tommy Hilfiger who are racist that didn't even make the brands for me. And it speaks to, I'm better than you, I can afford this, I'm special. So I don't think you can be a revolutionary or Pan-Africanist and buy expensive European clothes. I mean, it's different if you're supporting local, if they're expensive local clothes. But I don't believe that you can be a revolutionary and wear Gucci.
Where
I
does it
really,
end, my queen? Where does it end? Do you stop at clothes? Do you also talk about food? Do you also talk about
wait,
cars? Where
wait,
does it
wait.
end?
When we're talking about the clothes, we're speaking about materialism. We're not talking about food and nourishment. We're talking about materialism because these are things that we create and that we make fashionable. It's a
And
social
cars?
choice. Huh?
Cars? Cars?
Cars, are we producing cars?
No.
That's my point. So right now we're just consumers. You can't
Okay.
consume other people's things and put other people's things ahead of your own and then call yourself a revolutionary. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, so can I buy, so as a revolutionary, can I buy a Rolls Royce because we are not producing it? And come,
I'm just
and come.
saying that if you feel like a Rolls Royce is, because sometimes you can drive a Rolls Royce and it's not your identity. But I feel as if in South Africa, it does become, I mean, look at the club scene and look at the rich guys and the way that they dress and the clothes that they wear. You can see that it it builds their self-esteem, you
Yeah,
know? And
yeah.
if really you were a revolutionary, you actually wouldn't mind driving a Mazda because you're just like, I'm just getting from point A to point B, but my money is tied up in the land, the farm that I've built. My money is tied up in my business, but our money is going to other people, like foreigners, and then we call ourselves revolutionaries. I don't know. For me, it just clashes.
It's a very, it's a very thin line. It's a very thin line. It's a very thin line because even that in nourishment, I would say that restaurant there isn't a plate that is less than 1,500 rand. So you had to go support that Italian restaurant and call it you're nourishing yourself. It's your taste because it's Italian food.
But
So
why?
kasi food.
Why? That's the thing. Our thing is we're not producing enough businesses. We should be able to go to Gemelli then, and not the Italian. We need to go to the one that's owned by Abantu Abamnyama. If we were as conscious to supporting our own businesses like white people are. I mean, every
Yes.
time a white person even moves their business, I saw this other business, pizza or whatever, it was in Rosettenville, and then apparently it moved to Four Ways or something. Apparently that market moved with it. Bayasuke Rosettenville, bayosupporta umlungu wabo. So I really think that it's in our consciousness and I really worry about materialism. I really do, because I don't think that Amanda Bamnyama, we were brought up to be materialistic. We're very spiritual. We are we believe in Ubuntu. And if we believe in Ubuntu, then it means that we put human beings before things, right? But right now we're putting things before human beings.
Yeah, but it's a thin line. It's a big argument. It's going to be broadened. It's going to be broadened. Like, do you really need that 7 bedrooms? You only have 2 children. Do you really need 4 cars?
No, that's not what I'm saying. You can still have 7 bedrooms. And also, that's another thing, our architecture. Why is all our architecture Tuscan? As if we don't have African architecture.
Exactly.
You know, we need to have these think tanks and sit down. How do we Africanize? How do we put ourselves first? Because if you become a millionaire, multimillionaire, and then you go to Inanda Club and you take your children to St. John's, you're taking the money back to Abelung.
So the same with the schooling system. Which are the best schools? The top 10 best schools in South Africa?
Yeah, Abelung. It's the white schools that were created with the money that was stolen from here.
Our politicians, almost all of them, their children are in those schools that you pay $500,000 to 700,000. I think the highest was $500,000. I mean, 500,000, 400, 200,000 a year. And they are not concerned about the education. That basic education is not good enough for their children. No. They want the exclusive international education.
You know, King, it's so crazy because I actually thought we were wrapping up, but it looks like it's warming up. I see there are like 800 and something people watching on Twitter. Can I ask that you please subscribe to our podcast, King Said So, and the MOYA podcast, if you have not already, because there's like 800 of you guys out there cheating and coming to watch the MOYA content for free. So please do support our podcast. Good evening, Dex Unjani.
Ngiyaphila sisonjani?
Philile Nkosi, we are listening to you.
Yeah. First of all, I want to congratulate King. Well done, King, I saw the post of SMWX on X. So I want to congratulate you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, my lord. I can hear you. You say SMWX?
All right. First, I want to congratulate you on your interview with with Sizwe. So, guys, let's talk about mining. I'm really concerned about King. I've been saying this to your comments. Maybe you haven't noticed or you have paid notice, but you don't have. Sometimes you can say like, okay, but maybe this guy's a little bit off concerning to what I'm talking about at the moment. Because I'm wondering myself, like it's something that bothers me too much. I always say this, and then people always they always prove me right with my thesis. I always say to people, KZN is a mini DRC in a way, but that's fine. It's a talk for another day. Because if you listen carefully to Helen Ziluti, Lenta people there in KZN are sleeping on what? On a fertile soil. So if you really pay attention and understand, indeed, KZN has everything. If I say has everything, I'm talking about the area on itself. I'm talking about the south of KZN. It's tropical. It's rain each and every season. It's tropical. It's very fertile. And then we do have an underground water. There's coal there, which is an andesite, which is a high value gold. What do you call this? Coal. It's a high value one. It's a last number. We've got the platinum. We've got the iron ore, which is they're fighting and keep on fighting with these other guys. And then we have got everything. Even gold is there. Even platinum is there. But a little portion when it comes to value of a grade, it's very low. So when Helen said, when she said KZN people are sleeping on the fertile land. I can say it's okay, yes, it's fine. Even they Northern Cape, your side. I was wondering, would say, fine, as a hustler, as a content creator, you want to have a gala dinner next to the place. Berkeley West, I think I do know it. Not that much, but I do know it. I once passed it. There is Berkeley West. There is artisanal mining angisho khona yenzeka la khona lapho. People are selling, they're mining, saving the diamonds there. But why advocate when as a content creator? Uyikhulume lena ukuthi there is artisanal mining on that side in my backyard, and then but when I ask these people how to formalize this thing, how to get the mining rights, how to get the mining licenses, it's very difficult. Let's try to challenge the status quo. That is where the people start waking up. Then they would say it's fine. It's some other stuff. It's fine, but let's challenge them into certain laws. How can we change them? Because I once said to the guys whom I went to school with, guys, we all started mining here, but the thing is, why it's longer we mining in Dava 60,000? Basically, it's an inclusion there, and then we don't have an access. But mind you, we're doing what? The mining stuff. Why? Nyabong.
I thought you were going to respond, King, but maybe I'll give Melo End to have his question also. Or actually, no, respond to this because it might be completely different. So do you want to respond to that, King?
Ngiyabonga bhuti wami. I do agree, KZN and Fana Mpumalanga, you do have everything. I think ningashota ngedayimani phela, but you guys do have everything there. It's one of those provinces that I'm jealous of. I might move to KZN. I'm coming that side. Or maybe now I must get an AK-47. But anyway, on a serious note, Kunzima Butwam, I've spoken to these artisan miners. I've tried to speak to mining companies to fund PASETA. In PASETA, our principle is that we must be funded by black companies only. And then you find out very quickly that CEO that you thought was the guy, he's not the guy. There's a bigger guy behind the guy. So that also hurts me in a way, because all the mines, not all, most of the mines here in Kimberley in the Northern Cape, there is a black face, but they are white owned. Yeah. So I don't want, and when I speak to my team about this issue of us not taking funding from white people, they get angry at me. They're like, King, this is our money. Let's just take it. Let's just accept it, because these people, they stole it from us anyway. If they want to give us, let them give us. My argument to that is that if ever we allow Europeans, anyone to assist us to build schools for our children, they will understand that we are never in total control of what we are doing. And we will never be proud if China helps us to build a school. China will always say, when South Africans need to build a school, they call us. And I don't know, maybe it's my black pride or whatever. I just refuse to do that. Okay, you can just come in quickly, my brother.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, like I'm talking about the guys who are the miners themselves, so-called the miners themselves, who are mining, who are saving the diamond. But now, like, why don't you convince those guys to fund you? Because even it's a diamond. How does it sold? You guys how do you sell it? Looking at I think because you are around there, you should know everything. It's street language, well. So why don't those guys give you some money to fund your school? Not if certain portion, because I think if let's say 2-3 years, and then I think they can make like about 150,000. That is so cheap again. But in better at 50,000 and say that we believe in you. Let's try to challenge these people so that because we can see the potential in you. But the moment if you don't like if like it's like if you say like okay their faces black faces but behind the closed doors there is Anglo there you are quite right but those guys who are the faces tell them what you think and then after that is where you can challenge them, you can challenge those people because I mean they have you ever listened to advocates Moses Kakan always say South Africa are double standard. So challenge those black guys who are there, who are the face. Which I know. And then as much as it's part of the principle and values, it's fine. But imali who are from the source, from the blacks. We don't mind who's in background when it's all from the blacks. Because now I think even I've seen you talking about the African unity. If there's unity, just check our families. There's no unity in black families. It's like he can't silent as black people. This is song. Emakhaya kuzwana. Black they don't get along, and my and
I had to mute you there. Guys, I need us to start wrapping up. Melo, can you make your point and then make it very quickly? We do need to start wrapping up. We've been here since 8 o'clock and the presenters are a bit tired. So, Melo, do you want to quickly jump in?
Yes, okay, just want to clear something up. So, King, the thing I wanted to clear up now is that it's not that we want the jobs, we want the businesses, we want the minds and everything, eh? But we have to be realistic and come to understand that the standard we're at now does not allow us to. We're at a low standard. We cannot just open up a restaurant just like that. Even if so, you won't just get the support because you know, isita sondo mnyama mdo mnyama. We know that. You open up this restaurant, next thing, boom, everything is shutting down. You understand? So that's what I'm trying to say. Is that I'm not against Zimbabweans. I'm just saying.
Sorry, Njayam. Did you hear the suggestion of taking a group of people and going and protesting? And what do you think about it?
Oh yes, no, I've noted that down. And I'm gonna. In terms of support, I don't know how I'll get, but I'll try to speak and convince the people. I'll try that. I'll try and I don't know how much support I'll get, but I will do. But yes, to say that it's not that I'm fighting the Zimbabweans. I'm like, hey, I'm heads on with them. No, I'm just trying to say, as Black South Africans, we are at low standard and we are trying to build up, but we cannot because now we have to deal with them coming to erase us. Because it's really, if you look at it, we are not working, meaning we're not getting money, we're not getting food, and like we are it's like to me when I view this thing, it's like we are being replaced as South Africans. They're just saying, okay, Nina, move aside. We are putting these ones. How are we going to survive? That's my question. Because now it's like, because I see how we are taking it as if I'm fighting our African. I'm not fighting. I'm just saying we need to, as Black South Africans, we need to get to a upper standard, and we cannot do that while they are here and they are in how they're gonna say they're like in our spaces. That's what I'm trying to say. The majority of Black people now need a job. They cannot just open up a business. We don't have the funds. We, like as the school as well is like it's not struggling, but it's terms of funding, it's not getting up there, right? So that's what I'm saying is like we cannot just get up and build them this and this and that. We are trying to get up to standard to that because those ones blacks who are up there, those nonsense, they are taking care of themselves. Those clever blacks with that accent of theirs, they are taking care of themselves. They don't care about us. I'm speaking from a point of Ekas, coming from Ekas, trying to go up there so that I can bring my people also. You see, that's what I'm trying to say. That I'm not fighting the Zimbabweans. I'm just saying we need to get up to a standard, and the way to get to that is we need the jobs. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Question one, and I thank you for sharing up. I respect your opinion. Do you agree with the notion that if only South Africans can work in South Africa, then there should not be any South African that has any job overseas.
If South African only work in South Africa, then no, I don't believe to that. I don't think to that.
You don't agree? So South Africans can work overseas, but other people, if they are legal here, they are not allowed to work here because South Africa has got an unemployment problem.
No, no, I don't have a problem with that. It's just saying it's uncontrollable at this moment. It's like the government doesn't have regulations to regulate these people. Saying, listen, like as you said, they can say hire only 2 Zimbabweans. We are not regulated. It's uncontrollable at this moment. It is uncontrollable. You go to wherever, you'll find like foreign nationals. They're being exploited to an extent, and we try to plead with them like, hey, listen, this is what's happening. Guess what? You're xenophobic. You're Afrophobic. That's the first thing that comes out. When you try to say, listen, I'm not fighting. I'm just pleading with you. Okay, there are South Africans who are fighting, but what I'm trying to say is some we are just pleading like, hey, this is what's happening. First thing comes out is you are xenophobic, you are Afrophobic. Well, I'm just trying to say, understand from our point. Just understand from our point of view. Do you understand me, King? I'm not against it.
I hear you 100%. Try Putwami to get EFF or MK, get information about those restaurants and totally youth. And the unfortunate thing about you is saying you are living quite a distance from Cape Town itself. So I don't know. Kunzima, brother, the government is not on our side. Kunzima out here. I hear you.
And also closing. Can I just close? King, you know me actually, but the thing is, I think you've I don't want to say you've undermined my point because of my age, because you know me, and I'm quite young. Yes, I'm quite young. Should I say my age? Actually, okay, let me say my age. I'm 19. I'm 19. I am 19 years old with such a mindset. Let me tell you that. And I know I get this kind of thing of, wow, you're too grown for your age. But this is the thing of saying, when you say that you have to be like an exceptional kid to say, we can find such a kid to have such a mindset and everything. I am that kid into. I look up to the things you do and I'm trying to understand, but at some points I really cannot. I really cannot understand at some points like, hey, how can we do this? How can we do? Because I'm saying like, I want to see a greater Africa. We need that. But the way we are going about it that right now, we cannot just do it just like that. It's hard.
Why are you not at school, my brother?
Sorry, King?
Why are you not at school, varsity, college?
It's funding is not like, well, we are not well at home. Like, we are not how can I say this? We don't have money. Let me just say that. And I'm trying. And sorry,
I never paid money at college. I never paid anything at college.
Which college? I'll apply
The
as
Northern
I
Cape
am
FET College.
Northern Cape. Okay,
No, I'm
maybe I
saying
can
at
try.
colleges that has NSFAS covers most of this money. You are only 19 years old.
I will get to that. I will get to that as soon as I can. I think they're opening at June right now, and I finished my metric just last year or two. I don't. Yeah, last 2023 I finished my metric, and I'm trying by any means. I have applied it and everywhere. Last year my applications to universities. Okay, last year I didn't apply it. I only applied in the Western Cape because I don't want to move out. Just pick up and go to Gauteng, and I don't think I'll be able to handle that. You see. But I am trying, and I'm really trying, and then I have the bigger picture as well of Africa. I really have the bigger picture, and it's just that sometimes I cannot understand when you're saying, listen, accept us as who we are. I cannot accept such many things that are extreme to my South African living. You see? So, yeah, I'm not against the Zimbabweans or anything. I'm just saying that if they can just also understand that as Black South Africans, we are at the lowest point of this place, of this country, and we are trying, but no, there are many distractions to everything. Even ourselves, our own people are the ones who will be killing us at most times, our visions and everything. You know, that such thing. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that I'm not against our fellow Africans. Just that can they please just understand? where we are coming from, our point, not just to be quick to throw, hi, you are Afrophobic, xenophobic, this and that. Just please understand where we are coming from. That's all I'm trying to say.
The road is still long, my brother. You are a young, bright individual with a brilliant mind. I've got a lot of hope in you. I like your reasoning capacity. I like your patrioticness to, to South Africa and then to your community and to your province also. All I'm going to say is that the road is still long. Be patient. Your time is coming. You are going to get it right. I think there's some people, when you speak to them, because of the hunger that they have, you can just tell if they continue the way they continue, they'll get somewhere in life. A little bit more work, a little less complaining, and you will get there, my brother. And don't underestimate yourself. I think you will be able to get support from your fellow community members. Don't underestimate yourself. You can do it, man. You can do it.
And on that note, King, we didn't expect to go for even over 2 hours. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us, especially on a Sunday evening when you got to be at work and thank you to everybody who joined the live. We are still looking forward to having you in studio, as we said, to have a nice, proper engagement. We love the work you're doing. I mean, the fact that 19-year-olds here speaks to the fact that you're the king of the youth. So we really appreciate you, King, and we're going to support you, and we will post all the PASETA stuff and for the gala dinner. I don't know if you got any parting shots, but Tina says, right, this suit when I was up.
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you so much, Sisintiki, for having me. It's been a long time coming, and I am looking forward to meeting you personally. And to my fellow African brothers and sisters and my South Africans, ningapeli umoya olight.
Umoya upright. Angazi uzongithola later, uzongithola later. Thank you, guys. I'm going to end the session.